Hey, 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 what's happening? It's your girl, Constance Carter, and I am so excited. I'm so excited because I have my co-host right here, Mr. Robert Anson. What's up, Rob?
Hey, what's going on, Constance Carter?
I'm good. I'm Gucci. What about you? You good?
I'm doing swell.
Beautiful. And then we got my main man. You guys don't even know. First Asian we didn't have on the show. I love it. Representing.
I made history.
My main
Oh
man,
man.
Mr. Austin Thach. I'm so excited to have you on today, brother. I've been working with Austin for about a year, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But Austin is a celebrity publicist, and he's also a brand strategist, a brand digital strategist. And he has quite an amazing story that I wanted to share with you. And the reason why I bring all my super friends on here, and the people who come on this show are my friends. They are my super friends. They're people that I know, that I like, that I trust, that I've worked with in some capacity, that have influenced my life, that have helped my life in some way. And Austin is certainly one of those people who've helped my life in a major way. And we'll talk about it. But I want to introduce you to this man because this man is so influential, not just because he works with celebrities, not just because he works with Constance Carter, but because of who he is and what he's doing in the world. And I want you to know, like, he's the reason why I wrote the ebook, 7 Online Revenue Streams to Fund Your $1 Million Dreams. Austin will call me up and be like, hey, Constance, listen, I told you guys, I am not the ideation person. I am not the smartest tool in the shelf. I already told you that. But I just happen to hang out with people who are. And Austin is one of those people who's absolutely been influential for me and has helped me build my brand in a major way. So I want to introduce you to my audience, my people. Say what's up, Austin.
What's up? It's definitely been an honor to work with Constance. I may bring the ideas, but she puts in the work. I'll tell her something, she's like, "I got it done tomorrow," and then it gets done. It gets done. I tell her the book ebook is done in 12 hours, 24 hours, less than 24 hours.
Execution. That's right. But he does have great ideas. And so you need to really surround yourself. That's my whole point. You need to surround yourself with people, smart people who have great ideas. You might be the ideation person, and then you should hang around with an executor. You guys come together and collaborate. You might not be the smartest tool in the shelf like me, but then you have people around you. That's why you got to get outside. That's why you got to get out your circle and just get around some people who are doing some things. So you're from this man's neck of the woods. Let me go this way.
Born and raised in Baltimore.
Yeah, you from his neck of the woods.
Baltimore. Oh wait, this way.
Yeah, this way. This way. You're from this neck of the woods.
Yeah.
East Coast.
East Coast in the house, and you guys are in the same space. Like you guys right around the corner from each other. I think Robert, you're in Baltimore often, correct?
Well, yeah, I'm in Baltimore quite a bit. I tap dance in and out of Baltimore, in and around Baltimore, actually. But
Okay.
and knowing a little bit about Austin's story, I can't pretend that I don't know it. But before you get into your story, or can you weave into your story how you came from Baltimore and made it to the big time on the West Coast? The only other cat I know that did that and did it big time is one of the greatest rappers of all time, and his name is Tupac Shakur. He's
Hey,
originally from that Baltimore area. He
he
claimed New
represents the
York for a
West.
little bit, and then yeah, he went out on the West Side. But
Represents the
I
West.
mean,
Yes.
what was that all about? Because one thing I know for sure, Austin, is that a lot of folks, when they're on one coast, people in California might go to Texas, but they're not going all the way to Florida. People in DC might go to New York or Atlanta, but they're not going all the way out to LA. But how'd you pull that off?
It kind of just happened. So growing up in Baltimore, I'm from Cherry Hill, and
Is that by Drew Hill?
no, it's not.
Not really.
She thought she's trying to relate. She's trying to
relate. Yeah, try to relate.
But growing up from there, which was actually one of the really bad parts and still considered a really bad part, my parents got me out and got me to the county. But growing up there, my parents wanted me to be a doctor, just like any foreign family.
Any good Asian family, yeah.
Right. Wanted me to be a doctor and be in the medical field, all that. And then that was kind of like my overall goal. Up until high school, I was always kind of that socialite. always was kind of the plug. I was kind of like the little party promoter, club promoter, all of.
Ah,
So that was like I was always kind of that person. And then I decided I never really had a good relationship with my father. So he was the breadwinner, worked 2 jobs, and never really talked to my dad. We never got along. But then when I decided I wanted to go out of state, that's when he kind of disowned me. He didn't want to fund nothing about me going to school out of state. He wanted me to go to community college. It was kind of his way or the highway. I wanted to get away from Maryland as far as possible. I did not want to go to California though. I never had no intentions of moving to LA or California. I went to go in the South. And a lot of people that live in Maryland, or a lot of my colleagues, they wanted to go to school in the South. There are some great schools in North Carolina. I went to school in North Carolina.
trying to go to HBC.
I had a full ride to North Carolina A&T because I was running
Oh.
track.
Hey,
Oh.
T.
I wanted to go to A&T because that's where all my friends were. But A&T is an agricultural and technical school,
Right.
so they weren't big on the health field. So I went to East Carolina University, which was big in the health field.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was like a exercise physiologist major, and then I wanted to kind of be. Then I switched, and I wanted to be in public health. Then I had this whole thing of like, okay, I want to be in public health. Move to Atlanta, and then go, get my master's at Emory. Go to work for the CDC. I wanted to do all that.
Wow.
But then, kind of things changed when I was in Atlanta. I mean, not Atlanta, in North Carolina. And I was like involved in many different organizations and kind of like, and realistically, I wasn't good at math. So I was trying to figure out the easiest way, the easiest major where I didn't need it math because I failed math and I had to retake it.
Wow.
Communications is a good, major.
Right.
You have to retake math. So
right. That's one of the easiest majors. Liberal arts, communications.
Right.
Let's go.
In college they downplay that. A lot of like the people in the sports, they take either communications or they take I don't know, this other major, but yeah, communications was a big major that people downplayed on. So I took that and kind of bobbing and weaving my way through school. But then end of sophomore year, sophomore year, I realized I could switch to become an online student. And at the time I had a mentor. In Atlanta, and he went to Hampton. He went to Hampton University.
HU? It's my baby school.
Yep. And he's
the real HU.
Been graduated and now he's kind of well into his entrepreneur life. And when I found out I could switch to become an online student, I moved to Atlanta and I told him, I was like, yo, I'm gonna move to Atlanta. You don't gotta pay me or nothing. I'm just gonna move out here and work with you regardless. So I switched to become online student. I used my refund check to support my dreams of moving to Atlanta. And I moved out there with like I think $5,000 in refund checks.
So real quick, Austin. So you're telling my story because my dad, he wanted me to be a doctor, right? So when most kids were getting bicycles and dirt bikes, my dad was buying me this big medical book called Gray's Anatomy. And way back in the day, that was like the Bible if you were in the medical field, right? And so I was at Howard, the real HU. And
here we go.
I was in the physician's assistant program, right? Because I was supposed to be a doctor. That's what my dad's dream was. And right about my sophomore, beginning of my junior year, I had an epiphany and thought, like all the people that were going to the professional portion of the program, they had like a 3.9 and 3.8, and they were getting rejected because, they didn't have the lifestyle portion up to par and their grades weren't there. And at that time of my college career, I didn't have a 3.8. I didn't have a 3.5. I didn't have a 3.4. I didn't have a 3.2. So I thought of what I could do that really well at the time, and that was I did poetry and I wrote rhymes, and so I said I'd be a journalism major, and that was not the best conversation to have with my dad. But I feel you on the fact that you wanted to pursue your dream. And by the way, I failed my first math that I took too. So
Yeah.
You guys are twins.
You would think I'm Asian that I'd be good at math. So,
Right. That math part, like that should have been you should have aced that. Come on, Austin. What are you doing?
What are you
So
doing?
I didn't disown you because you moved out of state. He disowned you because you failed that math version.
right. So like even throughout this whole college time, I did not speak to my dad. Like,
Wow.
but my mom was my big supporter. But obviously she did not make the most money, so I had to. She couldn't co-sign for me or nothing like that. So it was just everything under me, which is why I'm in a lot of debt now. But you know, I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything. So yeah, I lived in Atlanta for 2 years, worked with my mentor. Me and him actually fell out because it's a time where I'm a firm believer to be of service to people and not expect anything back. Did I freeze? Did you hear me?
No, we heard you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in being of service to people, not expect anything back. And when you show people that you can be of value to them, they're gonna want to work with you regardless.
Absolutely.
But there is also
wait. I know it's a good story, but I want you to just marinate on that really quick. You're a firm believer that if you are a service to people, say that part again.
I'm a firm believer in that if you become of service to people and expect nothing back, you know, things will come in, you know, in full force back to you. And if you also show that you can be of value to people, they're going to want to work with you regardless.
Yeah.
But then there's also a time of knowing your worth, and there will be a point in time where it's like, okay, I have shown that I can be of service to you. I've shown you what I can do. Now it's time for you to compensate me for my time, you know? So it was to a point I was working with for 2 years, and I was only asking for $200 a month. But I was working with you for 2 years. Now it's a point where it's like, okay, I've helped you build your brand to this part.
Right.
And I'm not getting no credit, and you're not paying me what I deserve. Meanwhile, I'm still in school full-time online, working a corporate job and trying to help learn the in and outs of the business, right?
Right.
But I started off in digital marketing. Digital marketing was more so social media management and kind of the paid ads and things of that nature, which was cool. It wasn't necessarily, and I'm good at it, but it's not necessarily the biggest passion of mine, right? Really, I found out living in Atlanta, I've always had a big passion for music. Music was my passion. I wanted to be an A&R. Wanted to be an A&R. I've applied to record labels, this and that, never worked. But then social media kind of played a big role into it, and also working with a mentor, he did introduce me to a lot of people. Your network is your net worth, which I'm sure you've heard, and it's just knowing how to play the part too. I finessed, like playing the part. At the time I was still trying to learn certain things and be an expert at things. I was not an expert with anything by any means, but I acted like I knew what I was talking about.
So you had to fake it till you make it. So if you're watching right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Real Talk Live with Constance Carter. You got Rob Antonin on her side, just kind of working in the background. Want to say a special shout out to all the folks who are following us on the feed. Austin, you need to say what's up to Katrina Carter because she's out there in the building. I need you to say hello to Tamika Faison. And then also, you are global, Austin. Mr. Austin Thach is in the building, y'all. We've got people watching all the way from Italy. So you need to know that you are certainly drawing people globally around the world. And if you missed a part of his story, he is originally from the East Coast. He kind of left it all to go pursue his dreams. He went to ATL. So to fast forward and get you up to speed, you need to know that whatever you do, if you are a person of value, money and success will chase you. If you are a person of value, money and success will chase you. And that's Austin Thach's story. And he was also a person of service. He wanted to serve instead of to be served because, he had to make a deposit in the giving bank before he can receive anything out. He had to make a deposit first so he can able to be received. For somebody that's listening right now, Austin, they need to post in the feed. Instead of asking for a blessing, we need to first be a blessing to somebody else. You can't be blessed until you bless somebody else. You can't be blessed until you bless somebody else. So fast forward back to where we are, Austin Thach. I'll give it back to you.
No, I appreciate that. That was a good word. That was a good word. um, Another thing is though too, I had to realize too though, even at the time, even when it comes to having mentors and stuff, it's also not being comfortable and just kind of going through the motions. You will when it comes to having a mentor and stuff, you have to understand that you need them more than they need you. So um, that's a big part of it. I was doing a lot of the dirty work and stuff that I didn't want to do. I didn't find interesting about the industry or the game, but you kind of have to like work your way up into the fun stuff. But
So wait,
going back
so
to
your mentor, he was in the industry?
so he was in the industry, but also he worked with a lot of corporate people.
Okay.
If that makes sense. He worked in entertainment, but he also didn't work in entertainment. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he had a lot of relations in the entertainment industry, which helped me get my foot in the door to be in rooms with certain people, and that's how it comes to the whole fake it till you make it. In a sense, I was learning things and I knew how to do things, but I wasn't an expert at it, right? But obviously on social media, we do perceive things that aren't always true. So to a certain extent, and I branded myself on Instagram and social media like I was an expert in digital marketing and in PR. And
wait, Austin. You know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking of Bow Wow right now. You pushed the envelope, but you did not stand in front of a private jet, did you, brother? That's not what you're saying.
I wasn't.
You didn't sit in first class when he was really in coach.
Yeah, you didn't do that, did you?
I wasn't flexing like I had things, but I was definitely flexing to the point where like, okay, yeah, like I'm an expert in this and that, and I can help you with this and that. You know,
right?
Okay.
I'm showing people I could be of value to them. But in reality, I was still learning.
Right.
Yeah. So you weren't so your mentor was not the man. He might have been the man next to the man next to the man. But as long as you were in the room, you can make the connection. You weren't with the man. You was the man next to the man next to the man, and you was in the room, so you made the connection. Go ahead, Austin. I love it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and then that's when my first personal client, it was through a DM. I slid in her DMs. Her name was Alexa Sky. Alexa.
You did what, Austin? For the people that are 45 and older, you might have to break that down. What you did? What now?
I slid in her DMs, meaning I reached out to her via a virtual message, just like like a text message basically, but virtually on social media. I reached out to her because she was looking for a digital marketer and a publicist.
She was looking real good, and you was like, "Yeah, let me slide in your DMs." Yeah, that's what happened. Awesome.
I mean, yeah, like had a nice little picture, and then I slid in her DMs and told her this is what I could do for you, and this is how I can help you.
Hey, Cons, did you see him on the screen like doing one of these? I
He did that
can't help you. I can't help you.
Move right there. You see that? He did that player move right there. I saw it. She has body language changed like that, right?
She can't see the body language. It's virtual, so it's a direct message.
We see the body language though.
We see you like with this here. I mean, like I can do that.
It's nothing.
It's nothing. On my word, it's nothing.
That's what y'all be saying.
Man, so how did you get to LA? Well, how did you get to LA? Like, you went to Baltimore. And listen, did you hear I said Baltimore with a D?
That's how Baltimore we said.
Baltimore with a D.
Yep, Baltimore.
So you went from Baltimore, because that's how we say it in California. You went from Baltimore to Atlanta to LA. How did you get to LA?
So so when I started working with Alexa Sky, which that is Fetty Wap's baby mama. So that's when I started working with
one of Fetty Wap's baby mamas.
Yes, one.
Okay.
I started working with Fetty, and then I started working with Lloyd. And obviously I wasn't an A&R, I was more on the PR side, and it was something I was good at. And I'm okay, like I'm starting to work with some people, this and that, but it
So
wasn't.
let me slow you down, Austin. So for everybody out there,
You did a little name
Lloyd,
drop.
yeah, he dropped the name on you, Lloyd. If I had Funk Master Flip,
Right.
so he said
Fetty Wap.
Lloyd, everybody. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he said Fetty
Lloyd,
Wap too.
Lloyd for everybody out there. He had that R&B hit. What was the last joint he had, Austin? I mean, I sang this thing like one gazillion times in my iPad. I just want to be. I'm just trying to. What was the name of the song? Lloyd.
I'm just trying to remember.
You are not a
Oh,
good.
I'm
You are
not. You
not a
know what, Lloyd?
good.
I hope you're not watching this broadcast.
Right. India says caramel.
It's single. No, it's sing.
India
True.
says,
True.
True.
It's the one. I lost it all. Remember that one?
I wasn't a Lloyd fan, so I don't know.
They bumped it on the
I mean,
radio a
yeah,
lot.
I don't know what you're talking about, but we can move on to
Yeah.
from
Keep
Lloyd.
rolling. Yeah.
Roro. What about Fetty Wap? What about Fetty?
I worked with him briefly, I worked with him briefly. It wasn't much of a long working relationship. It was a little messy. Even working with Alexis, the working relationship just didn't work. Great people, but it just didn't work, Get It Shawty.
Get It Shawty.
That's a good song. That's a good song.
What about, because I see you work with Jill Scott. Hey,
yeah,
Rob.
I'm about to get back to
Jill
LA.
Scott. Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
So I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled in Atlanta. I feel like Atlanta, once you reach a certain peak in your career, you got to get out of Atlanta. I love the Black excellence. I love the culture. I love all of that. But it was time for me to kind of just to get away from it. Sorry for the background noise. But so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move to Atlanta, and I mean LA. So I moved to LA. So at the time, I'm friends with Naturi Naughton from Power. And so I have relationships.
LW.
I have relationships.
Oh, you got to say about her TV name, so we'll know what you're talking about.
Tasha. Yeah.
Oh, Tasha.
And I had dinner with her one night with some of our friends, and I was like, I think I'm moved to LA, and one of our friends was like, you know what? I have another room. Why don't you just stay with me? And I was like, okay, cool. So.
Oh, cool. Did you slide her DM as well?
Nah, I didn't slide her DM.
Okay. Just asking.
So then I broke my apartment, broke my lease in my apartment, and slept on my friend's couch in Atlanta for 2 months to kind of get everything situated. And then I moved out here and I drove cross country from Atlanta all the way to LA.
How long ago was that, Austin?
It's not even 2 years yet. June 14th.
I need you to pick up my bookkeeping score, which you need to make your credit score grow, because I know your credit got jacked up from picking that lease. Only buy the bookkeeping score, and you can start working on your credit.
I broke the lease though, so if you break a lease and still pay it.
Oh, you still paid it?
No. When I broke the lease, I just paid a 1 month full.
That's it.
Or they took your security
deposit. Put it on your credit?
It didn't. I mean, my credit didn't mess up moving here, but it didn't. I don't think it hurt me drastically, but yeah. And then moved out here, drove cross country. And mind you, during this whole process, I was depressed. I was going to therapy and all this stuff because I just wasn't happy. So then moved out here trying to figure out life, and then that's when started working with Constance, and then that's when I started working with smaller people in the industry, and then that's when my best friend and other friends put me on to working with Chris Brown and Jill Scott, and a few other people. I was working with Lauren London at one point, and yeah.
Shots fired. Yeah, so if you are listening right now, this is the Austin at Thach. And Austin, I just want to let you know that people out there in the feed, say what's up to Marquetta Jones. Also, India Baldwin, she said happy birthday to Tasha. It must be her birthday. So if you know it's her birthday, reach out to her.
Oh, Tasha, it's your birthday.
Yeah. Also, Austin, Jessica Johnson says she's been trying to get at you, so she might slide in your DM, buddy. And you just need to make sure you are in demand, my brother. You may proceed.
Get what you need.
How you sliding into people's DMs, Austin? What you doing? What you doing?
I ain't doing much. It don't take much.
So what was that thing? Because I know you talked about getting into to you wanted to be an R. Well, first of all, you're going from being a doctor to wanting to do A&R. How come you just never nobody ever picked you up? They never thought your sound. You never had an ear for music. They didn't think you were good enough to be an A&R.
It didn't even get that far. It was like I put my resume in. My bad.
Garbage day.
I know, right? I put my resume in, and I have relationships with the labels, and they personally passed it on, and it just never got back to anybody. You know,
got it.
Now I work with labels, from a PR standpoint, and now labels reach out to me. But it's like I think PR is more of my niche and my calling, rather than, even though music is just such a big passion. That's why I work with music so heavily. And when it comes to PR, we do play a big role into a rollout for an album or music, even like the whole Jill Scott stuff. Like we all play a big role into everything. So when it comes to A&Rs and single releases and stuff, we play a big role into it. So
all integrated.
It's all integrated.
Let me ask you. Go ahead.
So real quick, Austin. So in another life, I was in retail, and we were part of an up and coming retail, and I made a suggestion to ownership. We should try to be where our target customer is. So we ended up doing a whole bunch of radio promos when that used to be hot, when they would do like an on location. And the two premier radio stations in our area, WKYS and WPGC, we had this street team.
I'm proud of my daughter, Austin.
Yeah. So when you say PR, for the people in the back, for the cheap seats, what exactly is that? Because I know it's a big old definition and it's a vast and general job description, but for anybody that may have an interest, that may have a passion, they're around music, they love music, and it sounds like you are living on a dream and a prayer, but like, what does that mean to be a PR person or in that space where you are?
Right. Okay. So, and even just to clarify, PR, like, I'm not a PR, I'm a publicist, right?
Publicist. Okay. Well, publicist.
What's the difference? First of all, tell us what the difference is.
That's like saying like, dang, I don't even know. I had an example, but I forgot. But like, public relations is the job, but I am the publicist, right? That's like someone that's a realtor, but I'm like, I need a real estate or something.
Got it.
Is that a bad example? I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. So here's what I would say. Like, public relations is about being able to tell the story. The publicist is probably the person who opens
the person who tells the story, right?
See, you're doing a better example of explaining it than I am. But to really fully explain what PR and what a publicist does, is our job is to basically storytell and get brands and people in the eyes of mainstream media.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times people who have brands that they don't have the relationships or the right way to kind of storytell their brand in a way to where media is interested in them, right? And but also, as a publicist, traditional PR is not enough anymore. We have to do more than what's in our job description in order to, make our clients relevant and be happy, and our clients to be happy in general. Even with Constance, there are times where, like, sometimes when it comes to like an Essence or like a Forbes, it's a build up and it's laying that groundwork. But in the meantime, it's like, okay, let's see how I can help her, make money or also be relevant during this time, which is why the ebook came into play, and just maintaining relevancy, right? Because not in the past, people always thought we only need a publicist when we have a project coming out, but also it's a form of, okay, if you are a good publicist, there are different story angles and other ways to storytell a brand or a client in some way or form. If you're, an entrepreneur, well, if you're a musician, essentially you're an entrepreneur, right? So you can hit the trade publications of the Forbes, the Black Enterprises. Then you can also hit the Hollywood Reporters of the world. And then you can also, if you're a female artist, you can hit the fashion lifestyle publications, the Essence, the Nylons. So it's all about a form of storytelling. But then the bad part is if you do represent a high profile client, there comes crisis management. That's like Olivia Pope.
Olivia Pope.
Olivia
Yeah.
Pope was always handling problems, and crisis management comes into play a lot of times when you work with high profile clients and knowing how to kind of handle situations. And this is when publications reach out to you, be like, does your client have anything to say about this matter? Or we have to make a statement. Or if you're a publicist in politics, that's a whole nother thing. You create speeches and
Wow.
you're doing all that stuff for Donald Trump or Obama. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that come into play with PR that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes. People do see the red carpets, they see being around people, but that comes with it. But it's also just being behind the computer, the late nights, waking up at 6 a.m. and then going to bed 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
You know, when you talk about telling the story, and I work with Austin personally, and I've been working with Austin for nearly a year. I think it's almost been a year. But we do strategize on certain things that we're going, certain angles, right? So when we talked last year, we talked about this is the approach. You know, you have a new book coming out that just came out, so this is how we're going to approach your story. This is how you're going to tell your story. But then as we started to evolve into different areas and do different things, it was like, okay, we're going to tell a different story. You know, so now we're going to move to this story. This is going to be our angle, and we think that we can reach these people by telling that story.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the other thing with being a publicist, is just kind of creating the story, telling the
narratives, and also it's our job to assist the client of like, okay, this is kind of the direction we need to move in.
Right.
And you know, obviously we can pitch you all day and we can do all this for you, but also it's up to the client to also help us make stories for them. You know,
right.
They're not generating or doing things, whether it's for the community or anything, then it doesn't.
No story.
You know,
no story.
Exactly. And then another thing is like people want a Forbes or people want this and that, but it's also like Forbes, someone like Forbes, like a trade publication like that, they don't care about a success story. They care about what you're doing for the community. Mm-hmm. So it's all about kind of making sure the narrative aligns with their audience.
Right.
Got it. So when I hear you talking, Austin, it sounds like what you're doing one of the things that you do is that you leverage relationships, right? Mm-hmm. And I know for sure, in this day and age, especially with information being so readily present to us through the search engines like Google, Firefox, and others, having personal relationships will help you to get indoors and to get in some of those print publications. So for somebody who wants to even find a publicist like yourself, I mean, who is your ideal client, and what do they have to bring to you so that you can even consider working with them?
Great question.
Who is my ideal client? An ideal client will be first, the energy has to match, right? Like I always do an initial call, which is called a discovery call. and the energy has to match first and foremost. And then it's also like, what are they doing actually? Like what are they doing relevant, right? Whether you're a musician, okay, are you releasing a project coming up, right? Or what are the accolades have you done in the past? If you're an author or entrepreneur, you know, what organizations are you associated with, or what have you done in the past? Like I said, so it depends on each client, because the thing is, there are publicists that, and I always say this too, there are publicists that are just strictly fashion publicists, music publicists, or publicists that works with corporate companies. But in order to be a well-rounded, successful publicist, you have to be able to work with any type of, you know, people and different walks of life, because that's the only way I've been able to survive during COVID-19. You know, in the beginning, I lost maybe 1 or 2 clients, which I was like, okay, this is fine. You know, let me figure out, you know, how I'm gonna pivot. But then like I've been able to maintain because I represent so many people in different walks of life. Entertainment clients, it's cool and all for marketing. It looks great. they pay late as I don't know what. So the corporate clients, they really pay on time. They really help you.
They really pay on time.
They really pay on time, and it's what really helps keeps the money in the pocket as well, you know. Especially when you work with independent artists. But an ideal client is just energy has to match, and it's something I have to be interested in. I have to be interested in. I actually like the project, or I like the music, or I like the book, or the person, or what they stand for, and I like to really understand their story. You know, I have to like the story.
Got you. I love it. Listen, Austin, I know for sure that Constance, myself, we're always coming in contact with people, right? And we don't have control over who is going to come in our path. And you know, we have to kind of adapt, pivot, and do whatever we need to do to salvage the situation, especially if the energy is off. You know, for you, have you ever had to just tell somebody, nah, I can't work with you, you know, because your ego is jacked up, or you know, you're not ready yet?
Yeah, I've told I mean, I tell people all the time. I mean,
What celebrity have
like,
you told to F off?
no, I mean, well, Black China was one. Yeah, Black China was one. But also that was a thing where she worked with my friend, and then she had fired him, and then she took me to dinner, um, and we had a business meeting, and she wanted me to work, and then it just
Austin, was that dinner and business, or was that business?
No, it wasn't just us one-on-one either. It wasn't just us one-on-one. It was me, her, my other client.
So it was a group thing.
Yeah, it was a group thing. So y'all are funny.
We try to get some tea up in here.
I see, because I've actually never talked about this. But yeah, I mean, it's been people, and not many too hard celebrity, like big celebrities, but there's been a lot of times where people reach out to me on a daily basis, and it's just like, either you're not ready for it, because PR is a luxury too. PR is a luxury. Okay. So it's like, you're either not ready for it, you're not in a place where you need it. And then there's times where I work with clients and I've had to fire them too. You know, I've had to let them go. Because just energies didn't match, or things of that nature.
So Austin, for two questions for you. One, I mean, it sounds like you've been around the industry, you've been in the industry, you've had some favorable clients, some not so favorable clients. So who is on your bucket list of one client that you would love to have? And then two, for the people who are looking for your services and they're not quite ready, I mean, do you give them a hard no, or do you kind of give them like some bullet points and some things they can do to get ready to come back and see you in a year or two? You know, like, how does that work? So who's your whale? Like, who would you like to work with? And then two, I mean, there's a nobody who's trying to be a somebody, and they're watching this broadcast now. They may reach out to you. They may slide into your DM. So I guess before they reach out to you, are you going to kind of say, hey, you need to do boom, boom, boom before you come back to me again?
Right. Dang, there's so many people I want to work with. So many people. I would like to work with Brandy, but I know Brandy's publicist, so it's like, you know, I would like to work with Brandy. I'm trying to even think. It's crazy. I work with Chris Brown, but I've never worked with Trey Songz. Would like to work with Trey Songz. I would Carrie Hilson, which is really random, because she's been out the game for a while, but she's a great producer, songwriter.
Yeah,
she's pretty as hell. So
that helps.
Right. But I mean, it's just so many people in the industry that I would like to work with, but there have been a lot of times that what does that face?
You don't want to know. So here's the deal, Austin. I just need to make sure a little bit of transparency. So if you're watching out there in the field, I just want you to say what's up to Kyle Carter. She wants you to reach out to her. Albert Cheeto, he said, what you talking about, Willis? And we got the billionaire in the building, Mauricio Mejia. He said that energy is power. So you are
Mauricio?
I don't.
You're drawing
Okay.
people from Italy, and you got a billionaire that's on the line, and also the big homie James Moore is in the building. So we were going to let you answer the question: what do you do for the person that's not quite there, but they're a nobody trying to be a somebody? Either A, tell
Trying to
me
tell
what they need
everybody
to come
about
with.
Jesus.
Say again.
I said they're just trying to tell everybody about Jesus. What do you do with those people? I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about
Oh,
somebody.
somebody who can save
Who saved
anybody.
Hmm.
anybody?
I'm sorry, Austin.
Can you repeat the question?
Ain't that the song, Tamiko? You know that song. She said that's the song. What do you do? What do you do about the people who are not ready yet?
I mean, I usually just tell them like what the steps that they need to take. Whether it's like, okay, like a lot of times if you're an artist and you don't got somewhat of an audience or a following or anything like that, you need to build that up. You need to build your content up. You need to have, better. You need to build a relationship and a foundation too. So, and then once you do that, get back to me. And then
I'll let the boy.
there are a lot of people that reach out to me that have a million followers and they reach out to me, I need PR and I have the money, and they not ready for it either because all they do is post pictures for brands, and that doesn't do anything for me. That doesn't do
Right,
anything for you. People don't care to write about that.
right,
So it's like, okay, now you need to focus on what are you going to do for the community, or what else can you do outside of posting pictures. So it's me just kind of guiding them of what they should and should not do, or what they need to work on, or if it's like you just really in a place where you don't need it at all, you know.
So I have a question. So before I ask you the question, you guys, if you have any question for this is you have front row seats to speak with Mr. Austin Thach, the celebrity publicist out here in these streets. And I know a lot of you guys want to know what happens behind the scenes. What are some things that what can I do to get put on? How can I contact Austin? Whatever you want to know, put it in the comment section and we'll make it happen. We'll make sure that we ask Austin. But I wanted to ask you, like, what is it like working with some of the celebrities? What's it like working with a Jill Scott or a Chris Brown? What's it like working with the people that you like? I don't want to get you into controversy, but the people that you like working with, what is it like? Those people pretty cool in real life?
Yeah, no, for the most part they're really cool. It's dealing with a lot of personalities. Sometimes you don't know what you'll get out of them. One day you'll get nice, the next day you'll get, they go off on you,
Wow.
so but it's dealing with a lot of personalities, and it can be very needy sometimes, and sometimes you end up building relationships with them, so they'll reach out to you at any other time talking about not even just work, just personal stuff. So it's
Right.
very draining field of line of work. It's not the type of job where you could just leave your work at the office. The job comes with you at any time. As long as you got a mobile device, it's going to be with you. So
Right.
you deal with a lot of personalities, and people use the term you're sort of a babysitter, but I use it as like you're their bodyguard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
red carpets, you're holding their hands. You're kind of like, telling them what they should and should not do, or who can they speak to. So
Yeah.
and we're essentially like, helping them maintain a positive image of their brand. So we kind of like say this is what they should and should not do, and this is what they could and could not do. Sometimes they'll be like, no, I'm gonna do it anyways, but a lot of times they will listen. It's definitely rewarding to work with these people, but it can be very stressful. Like they're very needy. It can be sometimes little things, like one time, even one of my clients during COVID-19, I told them I was going grocery shopping. They were like, "Oh, since you're there, can you, just pick up some stuff for me and drop it off?" It's not my job. It's not in my job description, but I did it. You know.
Right. Right. You Instacart. You're the babysitter. You're the bodyguard. I mean, just everything.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's like, sometimes you got to do more than what's in your job description, because at the end of the day, like Constance said too, being an entrepreneur, you have to have multiple streams of income, because these clients can drop off at any minute, even though they are on contracts, but they can. So
Yeah.
You know, I love it, Austin. So, this has been a fun ride with you, man. I got to tell you, I hope you enjoyed what we've shared with you so far and allowed you to share with our audience. And they've certainly been active in the feed, reaching out, saying what's up and commenting. But it's time to put you on the hot seat.
Okay.
The way the hot seat works, my brother, is that we ask you some left random questions that you'll never be asked anywhere in your entire life.
Okay.
But you're going to get them here. And for the benefit of those who are in the feed and those who want to see this way after the replay, somebody needs to put hashtag replay because Austin Thach is about to get busy. Put hashtag busy because Austin Thach is about to get busy. So Carrie Hilson, you said, right, was a cutie on duty and somebody you would love to work with, not only because you see uber talented, but she fine. So is it or is it not appropriate to have an extracurricular relationship with the client? Yes or no, and why? Is it or is it not appropriate to have an extracurricular relationship with your client? Yes or no, and why?
No, because I think you should just keep business and pleasure separate. I mean, mixing that
Carrie
can
Hilson,
get.
brother.
I mean,
Austin, I'm upstairs.
Wait a minute. If Carrie Hilson gave you some rhythm, she threw you some rhythm, you mean to tell me you gonna turn that down?
Okay, I wouldn't, but but after that, I'm like, all right, that's it. We gonna
one time, just
you
one
would drop
time.
her as a client, trust me. You would drop her as a client so you can have her as a girlfriend. Quit playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that was the option,
Yeah. Okay, so here's one of my favorite ones. You're going out, taking your girl out on a dinner date. Would you rather go to a candlelight dinner or dinner on the beach?
Dinner on the beach.
Why?
Because the beach is nice.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, let's do it on the beach because the beach is nice. Absolutely. So here, Austin, a lot of folks, and even in COVID, some football players have gotten in a lot of trouble here locally on the East Coast. So if you're with a client and something illegal happens, are you or are you not snitching? You know, snitches get stitches, but if you see a straight up illegality happen, I won't even name it, but you are front and center, FBI, DEA, and all the alphabet boys are in your face, in your grill. You saw what happened. And they're putting the heat on you. Are you snitching or you staying with G code? This is your client, by the way.
This is my client. And they're asking me, they're instigating, I mean,
a direct question that you were privy to witness.
They committed a crime. You snitching?
Shoot. I mean, I may have to because
you 6'9" in them. You 6'9" in them.
Look. I may have to because if it was the other way around, he ain't got no for me.
Let me tell you something. My assistant Glenda, who's been down with me for 13 years, she is my ride or die. She let me know, don't do a crime in front of me because I'm singing like a canary if you get caught. I am singing.
Look,
I am singing like an opera singer. Don't do no crime around me.
Like, that's just like me working in corporate, and that's like they gonna let me go regardless over something. Like they could care less about their employees. They will let you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it was the other way around, my client would snitch on me too. So depending on the relationship, though. But I personally feel like
I ain't taking nothing for nobody. Robert, brother, if you do something illegal, nice knowing you.
Right. You snitching? Oh my goodness.
All
right. Well, listen, that makes me ask another question. So
hold on. Yusef L said you are very beautiful. So I want to know. I want him to clarify. Yusef, are you talking to Constance Carter? Are you talking to Austin Thach? Or are you talking to Robert Anthony? I don't know. Who are you talking to, Yusef? Who's very beautiful?
Constance Carter or Carrie Hilson.
He might be talking to Austin Thatch. I don't know. All right, go for it, Rob.
You got me discombobulated and confused. Hey, Yusef L, I appreciate you. If you're calling me beautiful, brother, I am actually beautiful. As long as Austin is beautiful and Constance is beautiful all at the same time. So listen, Austin.
Aura.
Your clients, because you name a whole variety of them, are they more a member of the Mile High Club or they are a member of the Get High Club? Are they a member of the Mile High Club or the Get High Club? Your clients, since you don't mind snitching.
I'm trying to figure out what you asking me.
Do you know,
don't know what the Mile High Club is?
He's a little young. He's a little young.
Oh, okay. Well, just for the sake of the discussion, the Mile High Club is when you are many feet up in the air and you're having an extracurricular situation.
Getting busy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Get High Club is herbal essence. Think Snoop Dogg.
Probably more Mile High Club.
Really?
True.
Do you have receipts that you can show?
Can you tell us who?
Can you run that video right now?
I ain't got none of it. I ain't got none.
Okay, my brother. You want to get the next one, Constance?
I'll go for it.
Oh, it's still on me?
Oh, you.
That's another off the wall question.
Here you go. I'll give you an easy one. I'll give you an easy one. You should be able to give us this one. Boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Like tidy whities?
No. No.
Boxer briefs, right?
Yeah, those.
Yeah. Those are sexy.
Not them boxers. That's childish. That's probably what you wear.
No comment.
Well, Robert, let's ask you: boxers or briefs?
Neither, actually. So moving along, it's on you, Constance.
Neither in the comments. Okay. You go commando, Rob?
Free.
He probably got a blazer and a button up and
no drawers on.
You're right, buddy.
Whatever you do not stand up before this podcast is over. Oh, Lord. We are here today with Mr. Austin Thach. This has been so fun, Austin. You killed it. So I think that most people are a lot more familiar about what you do and about what PR does, about what PR is. And I think people, or excuse me, what a publicist does. Because let's not get it twisted. We don't want to get cursed out today, right? If you just tuned in, know that I work with Austin. I've been working with Austin for about a year. And so some of the things that you'll see, some publications that you've seen me in, they were a result of me working with Austin. Austin has been awesome. He's been great. He does some of my social media as well. And even the commencement speech that I just did for Wilberforce University. That was a result of the relationship with Austin. Austin pitched me. They said they wanted me, and here I was, doing it.
You also spoke at NAACP.
I'm sorry?
You also spoke at NAACP last year.
That's right. That's right. South Carolina, I think. So, yep, Austin did that too. So there's some things that Austin has put together for me. And if you think that is something that you need or you like to get yourself out there, number one, he said you need to be ready. Whether you have a 100 followers or you have 1 million followers, that really doesn't matter. What really matters is that you have the ability to tell a story. That he could tell a story, that he could pitch you, that you're actually doing something in the community. And if this is you and you want to work with a publicist, reach out to Austin. I've tagged him on here. Reach out to him if there's something that you think that you have a friend that needs some publicity. If you're just working on a project or an event, Austin can help you with that. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know in COVID, so has that slowed down your business? You said you've lost a couple, but it hasn't really slowed down your business much? in COVID, Austin?
I signed like 5 clients during this time. So
You what?
yeah,
You what?
I signed like 5 clients during this time.
Wow.
And
That's what people don't think. People see that shifting and that pivoting is something else. If you can shift during this time, you can probably make more money now than you
I
did
make
when
more now than before.
Oh,
The thing is like the 2 clients, I didn't lose them. They're just on pause right now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I'm still doing stuff for them because I'm being of service to them because I ain't trying to lose them. You know, when
part.
you feel that you still willing to put in the work and present
Right.
opportunities for them, they gonna be like, okay, once this ends, I'm still gonna work with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. How many clients would you say you work with?
How many? What can you repeat that?
How many clients are on your roster?
Right now, currently, I have like 13. It's a lot, but I have a team.
Am I not gonna get my number one attention?
No, I have a team. So I have a team.
All right, teammate. All right. I just want to make sure, and for all those people that are out there listening that want to work with the publicist, know that he can still give you that one-on-one attention. I don't want to work with a team now. I want to work with you, Austin. Just to let you know. Thank you so much for being on our show today. This has been fascinating. There's some things that I've learned, and again, I've been working with you for a year that I didn't even know about publicity and public, and being a public relations and being a publicist are all very brand new to me. So thank you. You've done an excellent job. And if you want to work with Austin, reach out to him. His name is Austin Thach. Thach. Austin is the man, I promise you, and he is your entryway into your celebrity, whatever your celebrity is. He said he works with small time people like me, all the way up to major celebrities, and so there's nobody that's too small, and there's nobody that's too big. All right,
but
yeah,
all right,
all right. But I appreciate you. Any last words, Austin?
Nah, I mean, I feel like I said, in any job outside PR, you just gotta be of service to people. Mm-hmm. And Constance speaks about that too. She always speaks about how she's a servant leader, Mm-hmm. So just be of service to people, and be of value to people, and you'll get it in return back. The opportunities will come.
Yeah.
Oh, put in the work. Just put in the work. It's not hard.
Put that work in. That's right. Just do it.
Put in the work.
That's right.
So before we let Austin get out of here. So 2 things. One, because you're from B-More, you need to give a shout out to somebody who's going to see this. So one of your peeps, one of your clients, you want to shout out your mama and them, your cousin, or some of your folks from back home, or from A&T or ATL, or even there in LA. So we want you to have the opportunity to shout somebody out. And then 2, I don't know if you have a website. Did we say that, Constance, or where we can directly reach out to Austin? We spelled his name out, but
the Forefront Group.
Mm-hmm.
Forerunner.
The Forefront.
Forefront. Got you. Forefront.com.
The forefrontgroup.co. .co. .co.
Forefront
group.co.
Yeah, somebody type that in the feed. Forefrontgroup.co. So we can make sure that we reach out to Austin, and he can slide in your DM, but you got to come correct, or he will absolutely tell you what you need to do to get yourself straight. So this has been a lot of fun for me, Constance. I love hanging out with you, doing Real Talk Live. Austin, man, enough respect to you. I appreciate you for what you do, telling your story, be naked before our audience. And I wish you nothing but success. And I pray that your pivot takes you to your next, man. And we'll see you with the bright lights at the Grammys, baby. 2021.
I know, right? 2021 with everything.
We're gonna be there with you. We're gonna be there with you.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.